Hi, guys. My name is Citrus,
And I'm Ellie.
and welcome to our podcast, Pixelated Passions.
We're both seasoned Otome fans with a huge love for the medium and some pretty strong opinions.
So, I've been told. Speaking of strong opinions, what a day like today than to talk about some of our favorite tropes and our less than favorite tropes. We can be haters today. Let's be haters.
I have been so excited to record this episode because again, pretty strong opinion. I'm very opinionated, and in good ways or in bad ways. I either feel so strongly, like so much love, so much appreciation for certain characters, certain tropes, or I hate them with every bit of my heart, or I hate them. So I'm excited to
Absolutely.
talk
And
about
listen,
both.
I literally spent all last night in the ER. Fun. So, I'm ready to be a hater. So that's exciting.
Yeah, all that pent up pain, that agony,
Yeah,
just lay it on the bad guys.
exactly. So I guess let's start on a good note. What are some of your favorite tropes? Like your favorite character archetype?
Okay, I have a couple. The first one that comes to mind is definitely the himbo trope. I love
Mm,
himbos. I'm obsessed with himbos. I love me a good stupid idiot. I
you're so real
love
for that.
idiots, especially if they're tall and sexy but so stupid and so funny. And Impy could realize. I can't believe you haven't played that yet, by the way. You need to
I
right now.
know, I know.
He is one of the best examples of an amazing himbo. Oh, there's so many other good himbos though. Oh, I'm trying to think.
See, the thing is,
Oh my
I
gosh.
love himbos, and it starts to kind of fall into this in between where it's like, oh, like do I pick the love interest that's like closer to my real life type, or do I pick the love interest that's my like otome type? Because like my real
Yeah.
life type is definitely like the himbo. Not, I feel like a himbo implies that they're like physically strong, right? Or is it, or is
Yes.
it, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's not really Scarecrow. I think we talked about that a little bit in the last episode. But yeah, maybe I do like himbos though, but I don't know, what would you even
Yeah.
call Scarecrow? Like he's just a
Um,
loser.
I think yeah, I wouldn't say Genki because he's not a Genki.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, just like loser gamer guy.
My that's my favorite flavor of man.
Lo- loser gamers. Well,
Yes.
because the thing is, like, I feel like he's dorky and stupid in that, like, endearing way, which I still love. Any just if they're stupid, I love them. But
Yeah.
himbos, I think, is more like you're stupid, but you're big and sexy
They're like a
too.
big
But you're
strong,
like big
yeah.
and
That's so true.
yeah,
But yeah, because I do love myself a himbo. But I definitely like when it comes to like my like otome type, like the ones that I probably wouldn't want to pursue in real life. Well, especially considering some of the more extreme ends of it, would definitely be like the red flags, like the tsunderes, the yanderes, which I know you have some
yep,
really strong opinions in, and we will get there. Um,
uh-huh,
but like something I swear to God, I think that watching Beauty and the Beast so much as a kid, like broke my brain. Because something about the idea of like, oh my god, he loves me so much he kidnaps me and locked me in a castle. Oh my god. Wait,
oh yeah,
that's so romantic.
I agree. I like yanderes for the most part. There's one exception that we all assume about, but I typically love yanderes, and I just like the possessive type. I
Hmm.
love. I don't know. I get like excited, like exhilarated. The idea of like the thrill coursing through my veins. The idea of like someone being that possessive over me. Like I don't know. I
Hmm.
fuck with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, me too. I feel like when it comes to the like character types that I like, I feel like it's so hard because the only like one general typing that I do typically like most of the time, it's like usually just in general the redhead. It can be like the Genki
Oh, real.
redhead, or it could be the like problematic redhead. It really doesn't matter. But like
Oh my
usually the
goodness.
redheads are my go-to. Um, you
I
know,
we're the same person. Oh my gosh, me
yeah,
too.
literally.
Me too.
And so that's also why I'm excited to play Code Realize because I feel like, uh, I'm sure we will hear all about
Yeah.
it once I'm playing through it. Um,
And then too, Suzu from Jack John is the biggest himbo Genki ever and a redhead, and he's tall and sexy, and I love him, and I think you'd love him too. You need to play Jack John. Oh,
that's like that. I will. I gotta
he's
be honest though. Like Jack Sean is so much lower on my list. Like I would like to play it eventually, but there's just too many other games on my list right now that are like, admittedly, a lot higher on my list.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's a long game. It's definitely a commitment.
Well, so like right
I
now, I
I
still
think
need to finish Diabolic Lovers. Like um, I'm still getting through it. And then after that, I am planning on playing Butterfly's Poison, thanks to your recommendation. Um,
yes,
and then after that, I want to play Tengoku Struggle because the art in that is so hot.
real. Oh my gosh, I've heard it's pretty spicy too.
Oh my god, I know, me
So
too. I'm so excited.
yeah, it's in my back I own it. I got the physical copy. It's just on my list. My backlog's so big, so
Mm-hmm. And then, like, I feel like
um
there are sometimes where there's character types that I typically don't like much at all. Which, and I'm sure once I say the type, you know exactly where I'm going to be going with it. I don't typically like the Meganes. I normally just like they have an attitude, but not in like a hot way, in my opinion. And through the first half of the game, I felt the same way about this character. I did not like him. He had an attitude, but not in an attractive way, and was just overall really miserable to be around. But once you get to
yeah.
know more about the one and the only Ivana from Charade Maniacs, I fell
Mhm.
in love with him. Like honestly, he might be my favorite. Like he might be my favorite route from Charade Maniacs.
He's absolutely my favorite route. I am obsessed with that man. I genuinely we were just talking about this before the recording started too, because I was so excited to talk about Ivana. Because I again, me too, I'm not a huge fan of like, it depends. Tsunderes are very hit or miss for me, in otome games, and I feel like, especially if they're misogynistic, I struggle
Mm-hmm.
a lot, especially if I, like, love the MC and wanna defend her and they're mean to her.
Well,
So,
yeah, and I feel
Ivana,
like
I
it's so
hated him.
different based on like on what their attitude is. Like, there's the difference between like,
Mhm.
sorry, like my bias showing through. Like Ignis, who's really just like not really all for you, like kind of against you, like at the starting point, and is rude towards you in other ways. But then there's Ivano, who is
Mhm.
misogynistic and like it's a
He
different
is
kind of dynamic.
he's straight up mean, like, he is so mean to her for so long, and I hated him. I remember live tweeting about it, and I was saying that I wanted to kill him, beat him up, like, that he deserved every bad thing that happened to him. I
Ooh,
hated him. I was like,
that
"There's no
aged
way that
poorly.
I'm." Oh, absolutely it did. I regret every word I ever said. I think even one point I was like, "Imagine if I end up liking him after this, I'm gonna eat my words so hard." And then I kept playing, and the way that they sculpted this route and made him fall in love with her and her him and make him, like, melt, and you find out, like, why he's misogynistic and stuff, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I fell head over heels, and it was embarrassing. I felt like I was the one that got seduced, that, like, came to fall for him, like, I was the love interest and he was the MC pursuing me, you know? It was
Hmm.
crazy. Oh, that man.
Absolutely. Like I said, like there is like the different types of ways in which tsundere can be just like rude, right? Like there is the just like, oh, like they're generally off against you, and then there's the Ibanas who are just like, they're just like, it's, I mean, they're all kind of mean to you. Because like I also think of like Takeru from Color X Malice. He's not nice to you either, but it is not
Yeah.
the same as when Ibana is rude to you.
Yeah.
Ibana is
Yeah,
just
he
like an asshole. Like he's just a mean
yeah.
spirited person.
Like,
Um
not in a way that's like, "Oh, I wanna tease you. Oh, I'm gonna break your barriers down because 'cause you're just emotionally stunted or
yeah, it's
something."
not like
Like,
he has
I
funny
don't know, or just like,
reactions.
it's
He's
cute.
just mean.
No, he's just mean.
I
I
mean, his
hated him,
reactions
but
end up
oh,
being really cute and super funny. But
I
before
remember,
you
like,
get
the
to that
first
point,
time. No, for real. The first time he smiled at Senna, the MC, I
mhm.
tweeted, I was like, "He smiled, he smiled, he smiled," like, over and I was freaking out because I had never seen him look so soft and so handsome, and when he, like, genuinely smiled at her for the first time, my stomach did a backflip with butterflies. I felt like I was slowly falling for him, and, like, oh, it was amazing, it was
Yeah,
amazing.
and like
10
all
out of
of
10.
the like illusions, like when he would like be reminded of his dog, I think it was his dog.
Mhm.
He would be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like you remind me of her." I was like, "Oh, he loves us." Oh,
It was so good. That game has many tropes in it that I like and I dislike. And if you haven't played Strayed Maniacs, I say go play it. It's a crazy roller coaster of a game. I enjoyed it. I don't regret playing it. There was some characters that I loved, like Ibana. Some characters that I hated and I do wish death upon. Futami. um,
listen, I still don't understand it because like his dynamic and his ending. I won't spoil it, but like his dynamic at the end is still so confusing and like leaves
terrible.
me feeling
Oh my
so
god.
like I don't know, like it makes me feel weird. But I love
Okay,
Futami. Futami
I
is. I
have
mean, I think I'm blinded a little bit by his appearance. I just think he's really attractive.
Uh, oh my see, okay, I again, this is me okay, 1, I'm bisexual, so I love women, and, I'm an MC defender till I die. So
Mm.
if someone is, like, creepy or mean or weird to an MC, I usually don't like them, and what I hated about Futami is that he pretends to be like a good big brother figure to her, and he's like, "Oh, she's the only girl in this house of 10 men or whatever. I gotta protect her. I gotta keep her safe." And so he acts like he's safe, like he's the guy that she can rely on. And then 5 seconds later, she'll like go with him to escape an uncomfortable situation. Then he'll be like, well, yeah, I kinda agreed with them, like, you should put on a bathing suit because you are sexy. I don't know, like, he
You
that
see,
made me so
I
uncomfortable.
totally understand it, and I 100% see where you're coming from. But I think like I don't know, like that dynamic is definitely like I don't know. I would hate that in like a real life interaction, but I think in the context of the game, I was like, "Oh, that's so silly!" Like, "Oh, Futami, like you want me so bad, don't you? Like,
Oh,
just say you want me." Like,
help. Oh my gosh. I feel like he's a frat boy that would spike your drink.
oh,
Like,
well, I don't know about all of that. Listen,
I think
oh my god, that reminds me. We literally might have gone over this the last episode. But every time I think about like or hear someone talk about like themes of like spiking someone's drink in like games or something like that, my brain immediately thinks of the recent drama with Caleb in uh Love and Deep Space. I guess a lot of people are like really upset about that. And it's like he
oh
gave
my
her
gosh.
call like but like I don't know. I don't know if I want to
Weak
fight with the Love and Deep Space
weaklings.
girlies today. But
We weaklings. They can't handle that. They'd never be able to handle Toma.
oh
Oh
my
my
god. Well,
gosh.
you can't handle Toma.
Hey, hey, I can handle him. I just hate him. I would I would handle his ass. I would beat him. I would curb
Oh my
stomp
god.
that man.
See, the
I'm
thing
not
is,
afraid of him.
For me, like if I was in Amnesia, I like how do I word this? Like I love a man that loves me. So like I actually like he I never would have had to go in the dog cage because I would have been like, "Oh, thank you for keeping track. Yeah, I'll stay in your house all day. Yeah, I don't have to leave. I have everything I need in here. Why would I ever need to leave? Thank you so much, Toma.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'll cancel my apartment lease. I'll move in here. Live here forever and ever."
My issue with Toma is that if okay, if Toma was in a setting that it was a fantasy setting that didn't feel real, I would be
Mm,
okay with, his yandere tendencies, his all his stuff. I'd be okay with it. But Amnesia is a real setting in like a modern it is fantasy-esque, but it's mostly like a modern realistic setting. And
mm-hmm.
and he reminds me of a real life serial killer. I feel I
Like a
feel like I have
specific
met
one or like
cre no specific one, but I feel like in my life I have met creepy men just like Toma that
mm,
remind me the way he like gaslit the MC and the way he treated her and like acted to manipulate her to get her to trust him. It felt so realistic that it was actually scary. I remember playing his route and there was one moment where he like, when his eye bags get dark, when he, like, reveals
mm-hmm.
yandere tendencies or whatever, there was one part, it actually shook me because I felt it was like that route was like a thriller, not a romantic
Mhm.
otome route. It was like a thriller, and again, like, if it was a type of possession like, Balder from Kamigami no Asobi, um, and it was like a fantasy setting and it didn't feel he didn't feel like a real person,
That you could
I
encounter
wouldn't
in real
mind that
life.
much.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I feel
Well, because I
like I could
remember
meet a Toma in real life.
mhm. Well, because I remember when I was doing my project, and I first interviewed you, we did talk about Toma specifically, and you explained that same sentiment, and it does make sense.
Mhm,
He's written really well, but that's not
mhm.
necessarily a good thing for him because it is very realistic. Um,
Yeah.
I think like what's that one show on Netflix that is like similar like You? I think it's called You. Um
Yes, yes.
I feel like even that character is a bit more over the top than Toma in certain ways.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean he has this
Toma
basement to himself and he has this massive black, like, locked box in it with, like, in a dark black room? Like, that's just not realistic. But some
yeah.
man drugging you in your food to keep you asleep and then putting you in a dog cage is a little bit more realistic. Um,
Yes, he Doma they made him unsettling, which was I think he's very well written. I don't hate Toma because like he's badly written or because I didn't like his route. I think his route was so interesting and it was very well written and it was terrifying and I think that's great and I like it was fun. Like I don't regret playing his route, but as a romantic love interest, I think he's terrible. I don't think that should have been romanticized in the way it
mhm.
was. 'Cause I feel like I can meet that situation can totally happen to a real person, which is terrifying.
Absolutely, and I do think, like, I think we talked about making a topic for an episode in the future about this, but it definitely does start to pull into question a little bit of the ethics behind the rhetoric that does exist within Otome games, as to,
Mhm,
like, what is being romanticized, for, like, certain, like, communities of people that might be more at risk of things, um,
mhm.
but we'll get there. We'll talk about that another day. Um, and so I do agree though. Like his character is written in a really good way, good in quotation marks, just because
Mhm.
it can be a little too real. Um, with that
Well, and
said, I love Toma. He's my favorite from Amnesia. So like I definitely do see your point. But also I love him.
Have you played, Later?
No.
Okay, so I feel like I hated Toma more after I played his later route because, it's like a
Mm.
sequel to the first game, and it's a continuation, and they're actually dating at this point, she's out of the cage, and they're actually a romantic, like, couple, and the things he does in his later route are just he's just a terrible boyfriend, in my opinion. He's
No,
so
not my fantasy falling apart. No,
well,
he was
okay, I
supposed to
guess
be perfect.
well, you might like it if you like his possessive side, but I feel like there's a way that's like there's attractive possessiveness, and then there's just, "Oh, so you're an abusive boyfriend possessiveness," you know? I feel like there's a difference, and
Yeah, there's
I feel like he
definitely a
definitely
difference.
yeah, so I feel like he goes down the route of he's just a dick to her and, like, so in
Mm,
order to be controlling, he's just mean, and I'm like, if you're it's one thing to be controlling and be possessive or whatever, like, that can be sexy if you do it in the right way, but I feel like he doesn't respect her. Like, he treats her
mm.
like a little girl in the sense that he thinks that, she's gonna everywhere she goes, she's gonna get hurt or die or something, and she can't trust anyone. But instead of doing it in a way where, like, a other yandere way where he, like, protects her from other people and, like, tries to keep her to himself, he just, like, calls her stupid to her face, and he's like, "Why are you hanging out with this person? You're stupid. You should just go home because you're weak and you can't protect yourself."
You know,
And I was
maybe
like,
I will still like him. I don't know, like what in Ultimate games specifically, don't get me wrong, but like I in Ultimate games I love terrible, terrible men. I don't
"Help."
I should really schedule a therapy appointment. I don't know
Well,
why.
oh
I
gosh,
don't know
me too.
why. Because like don't get me wrong, I definitely have had my fair share of like not so great boyfriends, but I would never date someone that treats me like that. Right? Like I would never date a real life
Yeah,
Toma. But like in Ultimate
yeah, yeah.
games, oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I am
You're
stupid. How can I trust them? You're right, Toma. I'm so dumb. Thank
you're
you for looking out for me.
you're gonna love Butterfly's Poison
Oh,
because that whole game is red flags. That whole game is filled with terrible men.
I can't
You're
wait.
gonna love it.
That's my other favorite flavor of
Well,
men. Stupid and
well,
mean.
look, I typically like yanderes, but or I like the possession and like I feel like Balder from Kamigami no Asobi is a great example. I know it's hard, not many people can play the game because it's not localized, but at
Yeah.
least watch the anime, y'all. It's so good. But he's a great or not great. He's a Norse god, right? And his whole thing is he's the Norse god, the god of light, and everybody kind of it's like a curse he has that everybody falls in love with him without his kind of consent. Like everybody's just drawn to him, attracted to him, in love with him because he's the god of light. And the only person who's immune to that curse is his other god friends, and then Yui, the girl that then the MC. And so of course the one girl in his whole world that isn't obsessed with him right away and actually sees his flaws and like wants to get to know him on a deeper level, falls head over heels for her and is like completely obsessed with her. And I eat that up. I love that trope so much. Like
Mhm.
the lonely god who's revered by everyone falls in love with the one person who doesn't revere them. Oh my gosh. Oh, so good. I
I
eat that up.
see.
And
I think my thing is I
oh,
don't really like. Mm, I like fantasy themes and like settings, but I definitely do prefer like a modern setting or like near future. It's like Bustafellows isn't really modern. Like Bustafellows is a little bit futuristic in certain ways. Um,
yeah.
and like I definitely have liked fantasy settings here and there. But I noticed that the fantasy settings that I like the most are the fantasy settings that incorporate modern aspects. So like Magic and Renaissance, which is yeah, like they all have magic, but at the same time it's also still a relatively modern surroundings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I My thing is I'm very opinionated and I have very strong feelings most of the time, and I feel like with modern settings, and this ties into Toma too, but also Love or Pretend, that entire game, which I can rant about for hours too. But um with modern settings, I feel like certain love interest behavior is less excusable. I feel like
Mm,
red flag behavior is more excusable in fantasy settings because they might have like unrealistic reasons or reasonings behind their terrible behavior, or just like the circumstances are different, or it just feels less realistic because it's fantasy. But in modern settings that are realistic, when they're a
mm,
terrible person, I'm like, you have no excuse, like you're genuinely just a terrible person.
mm. See, I think the
So
thing
I
for
tend to be
me
more critical.
is that like I look at the character, right? And like I mean I literally I have like a little pin board above my desk for like to-do lists or like things like that. But I have all the character cards for
Mm,
Olympia Soiree. When I got the game, it came with like the physical copy of the game. And so like I'm looking at Kuroba
yeah.
and like Togisada right now. And I think back to a few nights ago, I was playing a game called like Push the Button with friends. Are you familiar with Push the Button? It's basically like you
I am not.
Okay, so basically the premise is like, oh, like you get this ability or power. So like you can fly, but and then some negative side effect. But every time you
Okay.
fly, you shit yourself. I don't know. Like that's like one of the possible things.
Yeah.
And so we're going through it, and one of the prompts was like, oh, like once a day you can have sex with any anime character, but and then whatever the downside was. Um, and I like at first I was like, oh my god, give me Scarecrow, say less, I'm there. Give me Ignis Carbunculus, I'm down. But then like I thought about it more, and it's like, what does that mean? Am I sleeping with a piece of paper? Are they still 2D? No, that wouldn't make sense. Do they look like Fortnite skins and like that's their 3D? Like I don't know if I'm down for that either. Do they just look like really
Ew.
good cosplays? I don't know. I feel like that doesn't translate well either. And so I realized that like part of my like appreciation for these characters is that like I don't know, like they're so unrealistic even just because it's an art style, right? Like they're not going to
Yeah.
look like if we're talking realistic Otome characters, the only ones I can think of would be Love and Deep Space with their art style.
Yeah.
Um, and so I realized then that it's like because I definitely understand and like I agree in certain aspects that like oh like the more modern settings makes it more realistic, but like looking at like anime characters either way is like oh okay I'm not actually getting abducted. I'm not actually going in a dog cage.
That's true. I Okay, well, and I have to credit good writing too that makes it feel so real, especially
Mhm.
with Toma. Like I said, it was impressive how unsettling he was because like you said, he's still a fictional character, even though it's a modern setting. I can still, understand that like this is just a video game. He's an anime character, like he's not real. But the writing and the way they sculpt it and the voice acting and just like the way they set it up is so
Mhm.
geniusly written that it again like it feels to me like I'm reading a true crime story of like a real person who
Mhm.
committed this act. It was good though. Like I am impressed by it. I give praise to the writers for being able to do that because that's
But also
hard.
fuck Toma.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, "Oh, fuck Toma," but in that other way, and I'm like, "No,
I
fuck Toma."
mean, listen, I can go in the dog cage for a little bit, you know.
Bro.
Listen, I
It's
know I
okay.
said before that we wouldn't need the dog cage because I would just be so infatuated that I would never, there would be no need for it. But like, I don't know, maybe he's into the dog cage. Maybe we can still get one anyway, you know, for the experience.
You know what I've been this reminded me of too, what I've been thinking, maybe the reason why I like more fantasy yanderes versus like a realistic one is I think I'm a bit of a romantic, right? And I like allegories a lot and like innuendos and subtle kind of possessive,
Mm,
like,
mhm.
symbolism, I eat that up. I love it so much. I feel like Toma is very in your face about it. Like, "Yeah, I'm drugging you. I'm locking you in a dog cage." You know, there's no, like, romantic, beauty to it, but to but back to, Baldur again, my example, because I feel like there's similar characters on the possessive level, but he wants to lock her in a bird cage, but it's like a symbolic bird cage because, he has, like, a whole song about it where he sings about clipping her wings and, like, trapping her in his arms and keeping her by his side forever after he clips
Yeah,
her
that's a
wings
lot
like a
more
bird,
romantic than the
you
dog
know?
cage.
Yes! Yes! That's what I'm saying. I'm like, "Okay,
He
wait, you
chose the
can
dog
clip
cage just
my
because
my"
that's the best thing he could get at Home Depot. Like,
Exactly, exactly. Because 'cause you're not gonna find, like, a 6-foot bird cage just, at your local
I'm
grocery store.
pretty
You
sure
can
Toma
get
even says that in, like, one of his lines, where he's like, "This is the biggest one they had at the store, sorry."
Yes, he does say that. I'm like, that takes I'm like, that is not the romantic, symbolic deepness that I'm looking for, it's
See,
too
but
in
I
your
do
face.
love the CG of the main character in Amnesia just being in a dog cage surrounded by stuffed animals and toys.
Uh, the
Uh,
audacity of that man to not get padding for the bottom of the cage, but just make her sleep on a pile of stuffed animals. Like, bro, be serious.
yeah, he could've,
He
like,
didn't get
listen,
her
did
like
you
a
go broke
pad.
buying me gifts? You could've bought me a
He
little futon, like, you could've bought me something.
for real, he just made her sleep on the cold floor. She even talks about it, and Orion's like, "Dang, you didn't get good sleep last night, did you?" She's like, "No, I slept on metal." Like, it's so bad. Oh my god.
I I understand why Orion. Oh my god, back on the topic of, like, tropes, I don't really like the companion trope. Like
Mm,
the mystical being that accompanies you through everything. I often
yeah,
find those characters annoying. Orion in this
me
case
too.
really like bugged me the entire time. I understand why
Really?
Orion was there a little bit more, but I guess I had just wished that the main character like spoke for herself more often. Like there's a few
Yeah.
points where I was like, "Oh, like when she lost her memories, did that include like the ability to speak? Like did she forget how to do that too? Like I don't understand. Like did
Yeah.
she forget like her second grade grammar class? Like I don't understand." Um
Yeah, no, I Orion narrate it's interesting too because it's mostly in the first game that Orion does this, is like he does the narration for the whole thing and speaks for her and stuff and just describes everything that's happening to her. But after she gets with her love interest and gets her memories back and stuff, she doesn't need him anymore, kind of, right? So I was playing later X Crowd, and in the later routes, she has her own personality and it is such a weird shift. I didn't like it almost. Like, I like that she has her own personality at that point, but also I was so used to Orion narrating everything
mhm.
that her, like, having her own opinion and speaking her own dialogue lines was so jarring. It was so weird.
Wait, she has like her
It
own
was
voice acting?
strange. Not voice acting, but, like, the text box, it would be her speaking because in the
Oh,
first
I
game, it's
see.
Orion speaking for her, but instead
Mhm.
or you can, like she has her
Or
own
it's like when you
thoughts
make a
and
choice,
speaks.
it will be like a line that she says.
Yeah, yeah, and she has her own thoughts that she's, like, like, "Oh, I'm looking at this object right now," whereas before it'd be Orion, like, "Oh, look at that object." It wouldn't be her thoughts. So, it's so weird going from Orion doing basically being the main character, basically, and then going
Mhm.
to just you. It's so strange.
Absolutely. Yeah, that I can see that being because I feel like Orion as like the mystical companion in this case did have a bit of a different role. Um
Mhm,
just kind of as like what's it called? But just because of the plot and like, she felt so lost in this world and like she didn't have her memories, like it makes a little bit more sense.
mhm.
Um so line was his lines made a little bit more sense. But like when I
Yes.
think of like other mystical companions that I don't like at all, I think of like I mean I haven't played the game yet, actually. Let me be completely fair. I only got to see the animation for this because it is a Japanese exclusive. But Julie in Brothers Conflict, I'm like, oh my god. And then
Okay,
he has
okay.
the
Wait,
audacity to become human and then also try to like like
wait,
this
okay,
poor
okay, okay.
girl just got like bombarded by her 14 stepbrothers. And now you're coming
Look,
at her too?
look,
Wild.
look, okay. I agree. I think he was as a squirrel, he is so annoying. Oh my, the way he bro was the biggest cock block known to man. Oh, he was preying on Emma's downfall. Like
Well,
anytime,
yeah,
even
because
if it was like
he
a
wants her too.
and then yeah, like you said, he transforms into a person and then wants to date her too. And okay, I also haven't played the game either. I've heard his route is silly and I want to play it just because I'm curious, but I agree. He was so annoying.
I want to play him for Subaru.
Uh,
I love him.
oh, yeah, that oh my gosh. I Subaki love of my life. I love silly flirts. Oh my
See,
gosh.
I feel so conflicted on the flirts because, like, I feel like Kuroba from Olympia's where I really like, and he was super flirty. But
Mhm.
like Iki from Amnesia, no,
No! Don't
I
speak up
know,
my
and I know you.
man.
But it's like I'm not a cuck. I'm not gonna sit here and watch you flirt with all these women in front of me. I'm not doing it. No,
Help. No, 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 bro. Okay, you have to play later. You have to play later. Okay, okay. So I replayed all of Amnesia recently because I wanted to play Later X Crowd when it came out. So I replayed Amnesia on the Switch port. And I didn't like Icky in the first game as much as I remembered liking him when I played it years ago. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like I like him, but Ukyo and Kent were also pretty amazing. But I felt the same way, it kinda sucks watching him deal with the fan club and all that, and kind of he's a little sucky in the first game, but in later, they reveal all his trauma, all his reasonings why he flirts back with them, why his fan club exists, why like, behind everything, his insecurities, they reveal everything, and then like they work through his trauma in the most healthy, realistic way, and I fell head over heels
healthy
for
and
him and later.
realistic. No thanks.
Uh, well, okay, don't play crowd though. Oh my god, his crowd route was terrible. It made me I try to pretend it doesn't exist because I hated him in his crowd route because I don't know what happened. I don't know if they got new writers or something, but I don't know how they have this amazing later route where he goes through so much character development and so does she and they grow so much as a couple and then in crowd just pretend none of it ever happened and he goes back to how he was in the first game. Oh, that was so aggravating. It was insanely aggravating. I
Men never
was
change.
seething.
Shaking my head.
Like, the freaking writers, they dropped the ball with Crowd, but, I just pretend it doesn't exist. Just play his louder out, and oh my gosh, that man. Love. But I get what you
Yeah.
mean. I didn't like him as much in the first game, but later solidified it.
Um.
Okay.
I also like what's it? I can't remember his name. The little rat from the rat. People are gonna come for me. The little thing in Olympia Soiree. The
Help!
uh
Daifuku?
Daifuku, thank you.
He's a mouse!
The little rat.
No, he's so cute.
Daifuku was cute. Don't get me wrong. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm trying to live my life and enjoy, and I hear GG. Like, oh my god,
That's
God,
valid.
go away.
Yeah. Help.
Can I help
Yeah,
you? I low key thought he was gonna become human too.
oh, that would be great. No, wait, there's a sequel coming out. Imagine.
Wait, I forgot
He
about
pulls a
that.
Ju he pulls a
I swear,
Julie.
I think it's because I see any like white or gray like small rodent. I'm like, oh god. Maybe I'm
It's
just
Julie.
traumatized from Julie.
Yeah, brothers' conflict traumatized us all in a variety of ways.
It
Oh
really has.
my
I
gosh.
still think it's
Oh,
so funny when I used to work at GameStop, my manager, she like didn't play any games. And I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting." Like what got you into working at GameStop as a manager if you don't play games? She's like, "Oh, well, um it just pay was half decent and like I wanted the job, but as a result I did start getting into anime and reading a lot of manga, and I'm like, oh, that's sick, cool, like what have you been reading or watching? And she's like, oh, I really like Yona of the Dawn. And I'm like, oh my god, that's how I
oh,
discovered Yona of the Dawn. Like she put me on
okay.
it. And then she was like, I don't know how it came up one day, but I mentioned a brother's conflict. And she
Oh my
was like,
gosh.
"Oh my god, I've seen that." And I'm like, "What? What? You're
Wow.
like a 45-year-old woman. Why are you watching Brothers Conflict?"
Hey, don't hate the player.
It was done so much that like, oh, she shouldn't be watching this, but I was just like, this woman that only just got into anime and manga and all of that. She she's talking about wanting to play Brothers Conflict. Like that, she was just the last person I was expecting to.
I would think that she was probably looking for more shows like Yona of the Dawn, and I remember, like, back when it first came out, Yona of the Dawn was on a lot of, like, reverse harem lists, even though it's not a reverse harem, and, I'm sure that she was probably looking up for shows similar, and Brothers Conflict was on a list because 'cause I've been on a lot of websites of, like, reverse harem anime lists, and a lot of them have Yona of the Dawn and Brothers Conflict on them. So
I mean, Yoda of the Dawn definitely does try to play into the reverse harem at certain parts.
this
I
pisses
mean,
me off because you
it's like
you make me fall for side characters that
no,
don't have a
literally,
chance with
no.
her.
That's literally why I never finished Yoda of the Dawn. Don't get me wrong, I do like Hawk,
Uh,
but like, I also really like what's
Deja.
his name, the White Dragon guy.
Oh, Jeha? No.
Yes,
Is that the
I think
yes? Okay.
it's
I
been a
loved,
minute.
I don't remember if Jeha's the green one or the white one, but oh no, the white dragon I think is, Keisha, or is he the blue one? I don't know. Keisha was my favorite, the one with the white hair. He was, like, super flirty and in love with her, but also, like, so cute. I loved him. Oh, didn't stand a chance
I
though.
think we're talking about the same person. Yeah, Kija. Yeah, I love
Okay, yes.
Kija. Yeah.
He was so cute.
Yeah, no, because
Ugh,
I remember when I watched the anime for Yono the Dawn first, and then I was like, oh, okay, like I'll start reading it because I was still working there and talking to her about it, and so she got me to start reading it. And I fell more and more in love with these side characters, and I'm like, this sucks. I hate it here.
yeah.
She
No,
won't
real,
give
Hawk
any of
has
them the
too
time of day.
Hawk had way too much aura. I get, like, why she fell for him. I get it. He's not my favorite, but I get it because
What's
that
so
man has a
funny
lot
is
of
he might have been my favorite
riz.
if he wasn't the main character. I like it's
Real.
a bad habit for it, or I mean, not it's not a bad habit. It doesn't it's no one's business but mine. But like, I always, almost always, go for someone other than the main character. Don't know why.
Real.
The only exception is Fruits Basket, and because I
Well,
love Brill.
gosh, and why are I feel like the flirts are always side characters, which makes me upset. And it's always, like, the cool stoic guy
It's
that's the
always
main
the
character.
like, it's always like
The most
the
boring bitch.
saltine cracker, boring ass, bland
No
ass
fl
man.
no
God,
flavor. Exactly,
it's
exactly.
like they're all so
Oh,
palatable. Where's the
yeah, back
trauma?
to
Where is the toxicity?
no, for real. Because back to, like, the trope topic, my one of my least favorite tropes is the stoic kudere?
Who did
I
it?
can't accent. Yeah,
I
like, the
agree. That's
stoic
actually one
ones,
type that I never like.
it is so hard for me to like them, and it's so interesting because I feel like they're very popular. Some like Dante and Saito from Hakuoki and so many other like, stoic guys are pretty popular in the otome fandom, which I find so interesting because I am usually bored to death with kundanes,
Well, because
but
they
it's
don't
just
give
I don't
you
know,
anything, in my
I
opinion. You get
know.
nothing from
I
them.
I agree, like, I as much as I think Dante is okay, that's just how much, like, the most I ever like kundanes is they're okay. I'm never head over heels for them, not that I can think of off the top of my head right now. I'm sure there's been 1 or 2 exceptions where I've been like, "Okay, well, that was kinda good." But usually it's a mix, like, they're a kudere and a tsundere, there's a little bit of both in there or something.
Mhm.
But, like, have you played Hakuoki?
I started it. I actually I got all of them as a gift on Steam from my ex because
Oh,
what is it?
wow.
Valentine's Day came 2 months after we broke up, and he at the
Oh,
time, he really hoped that we would get back together. So he
ooh.
sent me it's actually I'll send it to you on Discord afterwards because it's such a funny message. But he sends me a message on Valentine's Day like, "Hey cutie, I hope you're having a great day. Happy Valentine's Day, even though we're not together right now. Have fun with your fictional men." And then a list of Steam codes, and I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Dang, oh my gosh, that's commitment right there.
Yeah, I mean, he was so toxic, but I have such a bad habit of going for toxic men.
Uh, Maybe that kinda does reflect on your otome taste too.
It
Just a
definitely
little.
does, but like the toxic men that I go for in real life are a lot watered down. Like they don't be locking me in like dog cages.
Yeah,
Maybe they'd
yeah,
be
of
better if
course.
they did. Maybe I'd enjoy them more if they were more exciting and not just emotionally damaging.
It Okay, I've been trying to I was going through a list trying to find any kureres that I enjoyed. There's a couple. It's rare, but there's a couple. Okay, um, so Yoritomo from Birushana, he I didn't love him, but there's at the end of his route when they actually get together, he turns out to be like a sex god, I guess, and he's he's so hot, but it's only after he falls in love with her and like makes moves on her. So I liked him by the end. And then Natsuhiko from Norn 9 was pretty solid. I liked his route a lot, which I was surprised by. I didn't think I would, but I feel like it did a good job at making a not very emotional character very emotional deep down
Mm.
in like a natural way. I thought I liked him, and then Kai from Jacques Jean, because every character except one character in Jacques Jean is my mortal enemy. But most of the characters in that game are so beautifully written that even if they're a trope that I don't vibe with, I usually because Kai was a kudere, but not really because he was more of a sad boy. Like he was very depressed and had a lot of like anxious and like sadness and trauma in him, and playing his route was very emotionally charged because of how he was a very strong feeling man, but it was like sad emotions and it was very emotionally heavy, and so it moved me. It was very beautiful, but I feel like he is kind of in the kudere category, but less emotionally stunted, more emotionally traumatized.
See, when I think about the kureres that I've like interacted with, I there's literally only one that I can think of that I even remotely like, and even then, he's my second least favorite. Mozu from Busta Fellows.
I hate
Uh,
Mozu.
but you just don't like Busta Fellows, you hater.
No. No, 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 no. Mozu specifically was my least favorite in that game.
Least favorite. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Why?
because he's so boring. Because that's the exact kind of
But his
kudere
whole
that I don't
storyline, like, I
like.
won't spoil it because, like, oh my god, everyone, please go play Pasta Fellows. What? What? Why?
Yeah,
Why? No, because
the plot
honestly,
no,
his plotline was like, better than everyone
so
else's. Like, what are
no,
you
no,
talking
okay.
about?
No, his plot was crazy. I was shook. I was traumatized, I was shook. That plot was crazy. Him as a character, so boring.
But that's
He was
like
a
that's
robot.
his
I
plot is a part of him.
No, 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 no. I his plot was cool. The plot with his sister and all that was cool
I
and
am gonna
interesting.
lose my shit. I can't cope with this right now. What do you mean?
No,
That is
look,
the
okay,
most
okay.
incorrect take I've ever heard in my life. I understand him not
Look,
being your favorite, but like, oh my god.
listen, listen, listen. Okay, so the type of kudere that I dislike heavily is the robotic type. I don't wanna date like I feel like I'm dating a robot, and with Mozu, it felt like he was a robot, genuinely a robot,
I mean, I
and it'd
agree,
be one
but
thing it'd be one thing if he did have, like, a big emotional moment with her. The only time he was really emotional was, like, plot-related stuff. If
I
he
was gonna
had
say he does.
no, no, but it's plot related. It has nothing to do with the romance. Okay, I'm talking about the that's why okay, that's why when I review games, I have a separate setting for love interest and then route because their route can be fire, but them as a romantic love interest can be ass. So I feel like that's where Mozu lies. Is he had a good interesting
See,
route
but
and
okay, but
like good
here's the
plot.
thing. Here's the thing that drives me insane right now. You okay, maybe you don't like Mozu. Sure, maybe he's your least favorite out of a pool of people. But Helvetica is in that pool of people. What do you mean?
Oh,
You like
I liked
Helvetica
him.
more? Oh, shut up. Don't talk to me
he was
anymore. Literally,
he
podcast canceled. We're done here. I hate Helvetica with a burning passion. Oh,
Wait, why?
did you get all the bad endings as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
So do you remember, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but do you remember Helvetia's bad ending?
vaguely,
I literally am gonna
vaguely.
DM you on Discord super quick just to remind you what it is because I need to get my point across so strong.
Well, also,
And for all the people
just
listening,
I
for all the
view bad
people,
endings
yeah, go
as
ahead.
non-canon, though. I view bad endings as mostly non-canon, so if they are, like, terrible in a bad ending, I won't dislike them because of a bad ending, usually. You see. Oh, yeah, I remember that,
Okay,
okay.
so for all the people out there, if you've played Bust of Fellows and you remember the bad endings, just take a moment to ponder the ending for Helvetica. My good ending with Helvetica was the bad ending. When the bad ending
Oh,
happens, I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm free.
oh,
Phew. Never have to see that
wait, okay,
fucking man again.
apart from the bad ending, what did you dislike about him? I'm curious.
Everything. Literally everything. I hated his voice. I hated how he looked. I hated his personality. I hated his
Damn.
profession. And the way he like talked about his profession, the way he talked about women. I hate him so much. So
It's one
much.
of okay. Okay, okay,
Helvetica is
to
like
be
literally
fair,
one of my least favorite love interests ever. And Bustafellas
that is
is like
so
one of my
funny.
favorite games.
I don't remember if he was my favorite. I think I put him up there a ways, but mostly I do like flirts. But I feel like with Helvetica too is I feel like he's one of the girls. Like I feel like if it felt like a straight man talking about women the way he did, then I would hate him. But
But
I
he
don't
is a
view
straight
Helvetica
man.
but I don't view him that way though. Like that's a gay man
But
or
no, but
at
he
least
no 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 no
bisexual.
no because he is literally so forward with Tuta. He is so forward with her.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying is like I feel like it is a queer man come like a he's a flaming bisexual in my mind. So I'm like you get a pass. Like you can talk about women that way
Fuck
because you're one of the
that.
girls.
No. No. You are entitled to your wrong opinion.
Look, look, okay. I am weak for I haven't played it in a while. I need to replay
You need to
Bust Fellows.
replay it and just
Maybe
let me echo inside your head through the entire time. Just so I can hope and pray that you come out of it like, wow, Aeson was right.
well, and I didn't particularly love anyone in Bustfellow, so that's the thing is I liked Helvetica, but he wasn't like a love I didn't like love him. I didn't love anyone in that game. I thought they were all just mediocre or terrible. and
Crazy.
I you know who
This
I
might be
did
your
love
hottest take
though?
I've ever heard from you.
No, no, you know who I did love was Adam, and I got my heart ripped out of my chest I I got I
That's
was
so funny.
traumatized. I have videos. I can send you videos. I took videos of me bawling my eyes out at the end of that game. Oh, Auld Lang Syne I can never listen to Auld Lang Syne again without crying, because every single time I just think of Adam and I want to kill myself. It's so oh my god. Ugh. That
That's
was the best
so
part of the
funny.
game.
I definitely did like Adam too, but I felt so fulfilled with every other love interest besides Helvetica. Um
Oh gosh.
that I was like
Completely disagree.
oh, this is I'm okay. Because I feel like I won in every other character besides Helvetica that I didn't need him. Wait, so you
Oh
didn't like
gosh.
Shoe Limbo? Like you didn't like
I
Limbo? I
listen,
can't.
listen, I don't dislike those 2. I think they're okay. I just don't think that they're
Scarecrow, the
amazing.
love of my life.
I think Scarecrow was my favorite in the game, but then again, I just don't think that he's amazing. He's just I feel like every character in that game is just a guy. Like, they're just dudes. I that's why, I paid for the limited edition of Fellows, which makes me I feel like that might
Oh,
have
that's right. So
fueled
you have
my
the CD that Scarecrow gives you.
yes.
I
Yeah, I
literally
do, but I
have already planned on buying one on eBay just so I can get that CD.
well, and I feel like that might have fueled my resentment too a little bit, because I paid extra money because I thought I was gonna really love this game, and then it ended up being very mediocre. I didn't love any of it, which made me kind of upset because I was like, "I paid extra for this, and I don't love anyone."
Oh, how much did you pay
Yeah,
for the
but
deluxe edition?
I think 80 something. I think it was in the
That's
80s.
wild because it's on eBay for 60.
Bruh. I w bruh. Yeah, that checks out. Typical.
I'm looking at my
But
like I never use eBay, but I use it once in a blue moon for like items that just aren't out there anymore. And the only
mm,
two things in my recently viewed items is a $1,500 Kyo Soma figure and
for
the
real.
limited edition of Busted Fellows.
God, they're that expensive now, the Utapri figures?
No. Kyo Soma from Fruits Basket.
Okay, okay. I thought you
It was
said
like
I
a
thought you were saying
limited release that came out like a few years ago when like the remake came out, and it's like it originally sold for like 80, but now it's on sale for like 1,400.
dang.
Yeah, I
I
really want
thought
it.
you
So
said,
cute.
some reason I thought you were saying Sho from Utano Prince Sama, and I was like,
Oh
"Dang,"
my god,
because
I
last time
should
I
look
checked, they
for a
were like
show.
there's a set of, Utapri figures, but they're all, like, $300 each, but I wanna get the Reggie one so bad. That's okay. Okay, that's another trope that I love. I love quirky weirdos. I
Mm.
Neji from Jack John, oh my god, again, me talking about Jack John because that freaking game is amazing. But Neji is the weirdest of the weirdos ever. And then I feel like Reggie from Eternal Prince Sama is kind of a weirdo. He's obsessed with England for some reason, even though he's Japanese. And like he's so silly and strange. And I love love interests that are weird. I just love weirdos, freaky weirdos. If they can match my freak, I love them.
That's so fair. I mean, what would you consider show? Like,
Show?
is he skanky? I mean, he's pretty just.
No, I would say he's more of a tsundere because he gets embarrassed a lot and he like is like I don't know. He's a little forward when he gets confident, but he is also pretty shy
I
sometimes. I
need
feel
to
like
play
if
the
there's a gang
games.
Otoya is definitely the definition of a Genki. He is so Genki. I
Yeah,
love
and he's
Genki.
the main character, and I don't like him. I mean, he's fine, I guess, but like,
I don't like him myself, but I like him with Haruka. I think they're a cute couple.
I see.
I think he because she's really shy, so I think he kinda brings out her sunshine a little bit, which I like. I like the I don't know, he can bring out more of her emotions because she's very reserved, so I like that about
Mm.
them.
Oh, I'm
Oh my
scrolling
gosh,
through
wait,
eBay. Go
chat.
ahead.
Oh my gosh, wait. Sorry. I this remind another kudere that I actually do love is Hijikata from, Starish Elite 3. I love him, and I have no idea why. He is not my type in any way possible, but he just makes me giggle. I think he's awkward, and I like awkward men, so I like that about him, but his voice is also so heavenly, and he's so handsome, and he plays a piano, and I love him. Anyways.
So I was just scrolling through eBay to just like favorite some things that I like the limited edition of Bustafellows. And I forgot that there were plushes made for the Bustafellow cast. And I
Yes.
remember that there's somebody that I follow on Twitter that I don't think they do it anymore, but I'm also not on Twitter like I used to be anymore. But they would take pictures of the limbo plush of like just wherever they were. Like they would be out and
Mhm.
about and they would just take a picture of the limbo plush. And that was like the highlight of my day for a little bit. Like I don't know, like I would just be scrolling through Twitter. I'm like, oh my god, there's limbo. Oh, makes me so
That's so
happy.
real.
I think we follow
I
each
that's
other,
so
so
real.
there's a chance that they might see this. So if you do, shout out to you. I am your biggest fan, honestly.
When speaking of bus fellows again, I've been thinking about maybe other reasons why I didn't care for it that much, and I was because I remember one of the complaints I had was that the routes are very short, in my opinion. I feel like it could have been longer. I also didn't love the art. I thought there was good CGs, but there was also a lot of awkward CGs, especially with Limbo, which was interesting because I don't
That's
remember disliking
crazy.
Limbo in any
Okay.
way. I there was a couple CGs where I was like, "Oh, that's a weird position to draw them in," or something, I don't know, but and I feel like the routes were short too, so that was one of my I just didn't feel like I got my money's worth, you know? If I got Busted Fellows on sale for, like, half off, I would've been like, "Okay, whatever," but I feel like I paid too much for it.
That's so funny.
That's
I
why
loved the art of Bustafellows. I think like literally such an embarrassing thing to get so excited about, but like when I realized that all the characters had nipples, I was like, oh my god, this is life changing.
oh, no, real
My
I like the
life is
sprites.
complete.
I loved the sprites. I like the sprites of Busted Fellows. Some of the CGs though, specifically. I liked the sprites. I like the sprite design a lot,
See, but then
actually.
in the CGs, I think, I know Limbo and Shoe specifically, but there's one where they have their tongues out when they're kissing Tootha, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is so inappropriate. This is, oh my, like,
Oh, I thought it was weird. I thought it was like, why are your guys' tongues just touching, but your lips aren't? I was like, they're just sticking their tongues out at each other and touching tongue. That's so funny. That was one of the ones I was thinking of actually when I was thinking of ones that I didn't like.
Hold on, I literally have my Switch right here. I need to pull out so you can continue speaking. Um,
Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I just remember being like, ew. I don't
I
want to touch
literally need to
tongues
pull
like
up my
that.
album on my Switch because I gotta scroll through
That
all of my
when
color mallets.
I feel bad too because I feel like people have this perception of me that I like hating, and to an extent, like sometimes it can be fun to
Oh,
hate, right?
I
But I
love
don't
hating.
but I don't want to hate a game that I've bought and played, right? I would rather love it. So I do want to replay Busted Fellows to see if I do love it again because I would rather me play it again and love it than me play it again and still hate it. You know, I want to appreciate these things, but sometimes just games don't click with me. Like, oh my gosh. So everybody and their mama loves Olympia Soiree. I hate that game.
Yeah,
And
I know.
I
We've gone
will
over this. I do think I understand that one a little because I love Olympias for it. Um,
Mhm.
but I understand your reasoning for not liking it so much. I feel like
Yeah.
I have a much harder time picking my favorite love interest in Olympia's foray, not because they're all so fantastic, but because none of them really like wowed me that much. Most of what
Yep.
I
Yep.
loved about that game was like the narrative and the plot, and like to be honest, the lewdness of like the blending or whatever they called it. Like I liked that.
Yes.
Like I liked seeing
Oh,
the
yes.
CGs of like Olympia's hair changing and like things like that. But none of the
Yes.
love interests specifically wowed me. Like, oh my god, they're
Well,
mixing necklaces? How lewd.
I feel like Olympia Soiree has good things going for it. Like, I'm not sure about the overarching narrative, but I did like the ending, like, Akaza's route and, like, her relationship with Doma and stuff, and I liked that reveal, and I cried a lot at the ending or whatever. But again, I loved Kurobo was my favorite by far. I think he was my favorite, but also I agree with you. None of it was that memorable or like stuck out to me very much. And also, that is one of the games where the bad endings totally ruined my perception of the entire game.
That's
If I
so
could
fair.
if I could relive Olympia Soiree without playing the bad endings, I probably would have liked it a lot more, like way more. But the bad endings were so bad that it gave me such a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, why are the writers getting off on writing this? It felt like almost fetishized in a way, which I'm not sensitive to triggers or anything like that, right? I don't again like I like Diabolic Lovers and stuff. I don't mind dark
No, but
content,
that
but
specific
when it's
theme that you're referring
it
to, it definitely
yeah.
comes up a lot more, like, a lot. It comes up a lot. I think it's like
There's
I would have to consult
there's
my
this
paper because I do write about this as one of the, like, kinda concerning things in my research project, but it comes up something
mhm.
like 7 times through the game.
There is a
That's a
main
lot.
CG in one of the main in Kuroba's route, it is a main CG that you get every time you play the route, and it's a rape CG. And, like, I am generally shook, but, like, again, I'm not that sensitive, like, that was fine not fine, but I wasn't, like, traumatized by it or anything. But some of the bad endings, I felt like they just wanted to make it as terrible as possible just for shock factor, and they were just bad, like, not in a good way, like, they were not, like, good bad endings, they were just not good. I don't know how to describe it, I
Yeah,
just felt gross, and I felt so unnecessary. 'Cause why are you involving a child in a rape bad ending? Like, why? Why that was so unnecessary, and it felt like the writers got off to it or just wrote it for shock factor, which I don't like. That is one of my least favorite tropes is if you're gonna write dark content, make it meaningful, don't make it just gory or messed up slop.
mhm.
Like a
I
live
agree.
leak video.
I
I don't wanna
not
watch
the live leak.
literally, I felt like I was freaking on Live Leak or something watching rape content. It was so I did not like that at all, and it totally ruined my perception of the game as a whole, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Well, no, that's why I say, like, I do, even though I do like Olympia Soiree, um, I don't like that aspect of it, of simply how much that comes up. And so, like, I
Mhm.
don't blame you for that souring how you view it.
Yeah, I felt just something that they could do for shock factor or that they thought it was hot, which I
God, I
again,
would
you
really
know,
hope that's
seeing
not it.
but some of them
Yeah, but
genuinely like
that's not really, like,
the
C and C content,
yeah,
like,
that's
'cause
what
it's a bad ending.
exactly.
I would
Like, that's what
understand,
I'm
like, if it
saying.
was, like, CNC if they were trying to allude more to, like, oh, at first their relationship is on shore, but then it develops. Um, but, like, I mean, think like Diabolic Lovers. Like, that's
Yeah,
literally the main trope of Diabolic Lovers.
yeah,
At the beginning, at least. Um,
yeah, and they're, like,
but like,
transparent about it, and that's the point, like, you play Diaboll Lovers for that kinda content, you know what you're getting into, you know, it's not a surprise or shock, and it's it's not romanticized, it's fetishized, but it's, like, not I don't know, like, you know what you're getting into, right? And it doesn't and it's more like it's vampires, you know, it's more fantasy, it's vampires. But with some of the endings with some of the characters, like the Tokisada tragic ending with the threesome or whatever, right? That ending felt so entirely sexualized when it was like the worst reality for Olympia.
mm-mm.
And I'm like, why are you writing this in a way to make this seem sexy? It made me feel gross, which I c no offense to people who like the characters or like some of the scenes or whatever, like, that's fine, you know, everybody has their own taste, I don't mind. but I just don't like that they tried to make this seem like something that I should be into instead of something that I should be just grossed out by, you know?
Yeah, no, that is totally fair. So update. I found my Bustafellow CGs in my uh plethora of CGs from when I was playing through it, and I actually understand a little bit more of what you mean. Because some of
Thank
these I'm like, oh
you!
my god, this is so good, this is so good, this is fantastic. But then there's one of Shu and Tuta on the Ferris wheel, and it
Yep.
looks it looks odd. It
Yeah,
looks just a little odd because there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just weird. And then I this one I still don't agree with. I still love the CG, but it is silly. It is the one of Limbo and Tuta with the tongue.
Yep.
He, so it's one of the CGs that has like two phases of it. Like they're similar, but like you know.
Yeah.
The first part is just him licking her upper lip. It's like, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next one, uh, like you see Tootha's tongue as well, and they're having a grand old time. But I'm also the line here is quote, "We lock lips again, more deeply this time." Limbo
Your lips
gently
are unlocked.
slips inside me.
Yes, yes, oh my god, I remember that. Oh my gosh.
I
Memories! I
like I
remember being
vaguely
shook.
remember sitting in my bed playing Bustafellows and like squeaking out loud. Like what? He just
'Cause why
what?
would she phrase it like that? Like,
He
girl,
gently
what?
slips inside of me? Excuse me?
Like, girl, that's not how you describe that.
Oh
Why
my god.
why
And then here's the CG of Scarecrow's bad ending. I won't spoil it. That is such a insane image.
Yeah. The Limbo one always gets me, the Limbo bad ending CG. I'm just like, I wanna use it as a reaction image so bad,
Wait, hold
but
on,
I
let me find
can't.
it.
I can't because it's a spoiler CG, right? But I wanna use that one as because it's kind of funny. Like, it's so messed up. But you know that, reaction image of, what's his face? Gosh, from Peaky Blinders, and he's, like, pointing the gun at his head and screaming. I use that reaction image so much, and the the Limbo tragic ending reminds me of that so much, and I'm like, I wanna use it so bad, but I can't. Uh, yeah, okay, there was some pluses to Bust of Fellows. I need to replay it. I don't know. It was
Yeah, no, I'm
unfortunate,
looking.
but
I still don't understand how you don't like Motu. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Don't get it.
I don't mess with the robotic cooteries. Okay,
Yeah, but
another one that is such a hot take because everybody loves him. I have not met one Saito hater from Hakuoki. He wins all the character polls. He is always number 1. Everybody freaking loves him. He was at the bottom of my character ranking, and that's crazy because there's like 12 routes in Hakuoki. There are so many love interests, and he was at the very bottom simply because he's a robotic kudere. I can't do the robots. I don't want to be feeling like I am dating a man who can't even say I love you or like I don't know. I don't mess with it. I can't. That's so I don't know. That's why also I from Utano Prince Sama, he's also
mm,
extremely popular. Everybody and their mama loves him,
yeah,
and
I
he's
think
one of my
he
least
looks
favorite
really
characters.
cool. I don't think he looks like attractive in the same way that I like other like that I think other love interests are attractive. But I
Mhm,
do think he has a cool design. Like if I was playing a fighting game and he was an option, I would think he looks cool. But
mhm.
like I don't know, like as like a love interest. But yeah, isn't I like literally a robot or something?
Yes, he is actually a robot. Genuinely, fully 100% a robot, which makes sense why I don't like him, because I don't like the robotic kuderes. I'm not trying to do that. Not trying to bang a robot, I'm
A
sorry.
literal, in that case, a literal robot. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Well, and his backstory is so interesting because there's so much lore with him and Reggie, and they don't expand on it in the anime at all, but in the games, it's really important to Reggie's lore and Reggie's backstory, and, they just don't talk about it in the anime, and I think it's kinda booty that they won't translate the games because there's a lot of lore there that they just never talk about.
I see. The one trope that I really don't like is like a last trope thing that it's more of like a gameplay mechanic, and I understand why it exists, and in the context that it does, I think it's for the better that it's there. I just don't like when it's needed, and that's locked routes. I understand
Mm,
why they're there. They, protect a plot. They make sure that you don't learn everything immediately. But I feel like doing so leads into this idea that there's a true ending or like a true route. Um, and I don't like that. I like the idea that no matter who I pick, like any of them can be canon if I want them to be. Um,
mm,
but like the one that comes to my head is Charade Maniacs. That's the most recent game that I played with locked routes, except for like Diabolic Lovers, but that just feels different slightly. But I don't really
yeah.
like it in that context either. Um, it felt like I was never getting the real ending until I went through everything and I dated the robot boy. Yippee! Like I got the ending, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree to a certain extent. I do think it's necessary though with big like mystery plots like that cuz you don't want someone to act like go in blind and then accidentally like play like the last route first or whatever and then the
yeah.
rest of the game be boring or like feel less serious because you played the craziest route first. But I also get what you're saying because it makes the other routes feel less important.
Well, and it's also like it kind of when you then look like, okay, so what's the route order then? Like, what order do I play? And you look online to maybe like you don't want to spoil yourself, but you want to know what route order should I play in? And it tells you you should play these first. Great, okay, I'll play those first. But then you see that these three are locked and it's in a mystery plot. Oh boy, oh gee, I wonder if they have something to do with the mystery.
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of a spoiler in itself to know which characters are most important or last. That was my problem with Charade Maniacs because the
Yeah,
route order kind of exposes who has the craziest routes or who has like who's most important
exactly.
to the plot.
And the way
Yeah,
that I
I get what you
play it
mean.
is that like I do my for my first playthrough of each Ultimate game that I play, with the exception I've actually never run into a game like Diabolic Lovers before where you literally just pick the route and go through like scenes the way that you do in Diabolic Lovers.
Yeah,
Um
it's very unique.
but normally what I do is I play through the common route blind as if it's like a bit of like a personality test and I see who I get. And then I'm like, oh, cool. And then after that, I will follow a route order to the best I can.
Have you played Cupid Parasite yet? I can't
No, not
remember.
yet.
Okay, well, there's a mechanic in Cupid Parasite where you actually do play a personality test to match you up with one of the love
Oh,
interests. I
wait,
think it was really
really?
fun.
Oh, that's so
Yeah, it's like an
cool.
actual test that you go through to figure out which kind of person you are, and then it matches you up with one of them.
Oh, wait, that's so cool. Ah, now I'm excited
Yeah.
to play it. I felt like a bit, um, a bit robbed, I guess, of like, oh, like, so, so my character isn't the right one. And I think the remedy to this would be to give, like, after stories of every character's route more
Mm.
often. So like, oh, like maybe if I did, I don't know, like Ivana's route wasn't locked, right? No, 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 no.
I
I
don't
don't
think so.
no, because the locked routes were what's his name? I literally can't remember their name. May. There was one for
Haji,
each.
Haji, Dazai, and Gyobu.
Yes, thank you. Um, so like yeah, maybe at the end of Ibana's route, I get like after I get the true ending, I get an after story with Ibana where they start to learn more of the pieces that they never found out, like after the fact,
Mm.
and like kind of pulls it together that makes it seem like the true ending of the game still happens even in these other timelines. Um,
That's, something interesting that I liked about Code Realize too, which you gotta play it, it's really good. But, because Lupin is the locked route, right? And his route kind of feels like a true route, but, some stuff is still kind of unresolved, and so in the sequel/fan slash fan disc, they have a separate route that is the actual true route, but she doesn't end up with anyone. It's, like, focused on a different side character that I won't spoil, and, but it solves everything, and then they have after stories of her falling in love with one of the love interests after that route, which I thought was
mm.
so interesting because it's like they solve everything and the plot is resolved, and then she has her connection with one of them you can pick after that story, which I was like, "That is so." Like, I've never seen that before, but I liked it a lot. It was really fun.
Yeah, no, that actually that sounds a lot better. Cause like I just imagine like, oh, let's say after you escape with Bonjo, right? Like let's say he's the one that you pick. That's the ending you decide to go with. You guys fall in love,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, like a few months after, obviously like you don't get the true like the ending that you get if you play through with that ending. I'm trying to stay
Mhm.
vague on purpose, but like then maybe in a few months, like the government like starts to take down and finds out the truth, and find out more about your other forgotten classmates, and you find out more about like the programs that were being built up behind the scenes, and then it's like,
Mhm.
well damn, thank god we got out of there, I'm so glad I have you, Bonjo, like, and that
Yeah.
can like, but it feels like if you get these ending like any other ending, it's like it almost feels like a bad ending. Like a, oh, the truth will always stay
Yeah,
obscured.
there was a couple times when I finished a route in Charade Maniacs, the earlier routes, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's it? Like, that's terrible. They left him th they did this, they did that." Like, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god," almost frustrated
Or
because
even give
they
me an
something
ending where
bad
you find
happened.
out that that other person never comes back again. Like even if it isn't negative, like, oh, since you didn't solve it, it things continue.
Mhm.
Maybe like you find out later on that like, oh my god, one of our classmates is missing. Do you think they went to the other world stream? And like let like I don't know. It feels like none of the other routes exist in any sense of canon
Yeah.
reality.
No, I get what you mean. It's definitely unfortunate when especially when they do bank on a character like this is the canon route. Like this is how it actually happened. And like, you can tell that there's been so much more effort put into that
Yeah,
finale
it feels like
than
it's the same feeling of what I used to get when I would watch reverse harems and be like, no, she picked the wrong one.
yeah. That's why I love otome games that have finale routes that aren't a romantic route, because I usually they are very profound and very amazing, but it solves the plot in, like, a little bow, but she doesn't end up with one of them, so it doesn't discredit the endings of the other routes or make them
Mm-hmm.
seem lesser, and so I love finales, like the Olymp not the Olympia, sorry, fuck, sorry,
I mean,
the
Olympia Soiree
Ozma.
kind of does it. I mean, it's been a while
Yeah, but
since I played Olympia
Akaza
Soiree, but even though
Akaza is
Akaza was
still, like
definitely the locked route, was definitely like the main one. And
yeah, he's
if I
pushed
remember
as
correctly,
a
she
poster
does
boy.
kind of resolve the plot regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was, the Osmafia finale is still one of my favorite otome routes in any otome game ever, and it's not even a romantic route. It was just so beautifully written, and each character got their plots resolved in their own ways, and they're all still connected to the MC, and it felt like found family, and they still have that deep connection, but it's with everyone, and no, it's not biased towards any particular character.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, I love the Oz Mafia finale. You need have you played Oz Mafia?
I started it, but I never finished it.
Oh my gosh, you have to finish it. The last couple routes and the ending, oh my best peak top 2 Otome games of all time.
Peak of all time.
Of all time.
Ooh.
I will defend Osmafia till I die. That game, okay, I won't say it's perfect because it does have its flaws and people who criticize it, some of their opinions are valid, but narratively, it is so geniusly written and it rips my heart out in the best way ever. The routes are interesting and freaky and scary and heart-wrenching and the way it is written, oh I am the biggest Osmafia dick rider you will ever meet.
You know, I will
I
tell
love that
you,
game.
and I think this could be a solid point to wrap up on to everyone listening out there. Right now on Steam, they are holding their annual Visual Novel Fest, uh,
Yeah.
which means a bunch of visual novels, including otome games, are on sale right now.
Mhm.
So I'm taking a look right now
Go
at my
play
own.
Taisho X Alice. Go play Taisho X Alice. Go play Meiji Tokyo Renka. Go play Bust of Fellows. Go play
Mm,
Osmafia. Go play all the games.
mm.
All the games. I
It
think
does
Seven
look like some
Scarlet.
of the biggest ones are not, but Butterflies Poison Blood Chains is on sale.
Yeah. I know,
Um,
gosh, what's it called?
Mafia is not.
Nameless and Dandelion are on sale, half off. Pretty sure.
Oh
Go
yeah,
buy games, guys. It's the
Dramatical
time to
Murder's
buy
on
Otome games.
sale.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of the visual novel sale, don't play. They don't play.
Oh,
I
I
am so
might have to
excited
make
for
a
you to
few
play.
purchases myself. I already have so many though. Like I really don't need any more right now.
I am waiting for the Switch port of Seven Scarlet to come out before I buy it, so I'm excited for that.
Mm.
Even though I think I bought the Steam version, but I'm just not gonna play it. I'm just gonna play the Switch one instead because it's revised. So
Ah,
revised translations, my beloved. I can't wait to play replay Hakuoki because I want to replay with the revised translations. I'm excited.
you know, it's a bit off topic, but it is like a bit of a. It is a visual novel game with romance, sort of. But there's a game that I'm really looking forward to called Urbano. It's kind
Mm.
of it's like a Persona esque RPG. So like it has like similar Persona like ways of like romance. But it's also a rhythm game, so all the combat is rhythm based.
Ooh,
Um,
that's fine.
the like conversation moments where you grow closer with somebody is rhythm game based. It's really interesting. Um,
That's fine. I
yeah,
like rhythm games. Bring back
yeah.
Shining Live, please.
Oh my god, please. Speaking of, I said in the
Oh,
last episode that I was able to download the new rhythm game. I played one song and then I got kicked out. So
oh why?
because my account because I changed my account region back to US. They
Oh
did not
my
like that.
gosh.
They
That's
kicked me
actually
out.
that is actually evil. Oh my
So
gosh.
it will have
Wow.
to wait until I move to Japan next year, and then I will update you on how it is.
Okay. Oh, broccoli.
Look at Seven
Don't get
Scarlet's
me
only
started.
750.
I think it's so funny that we were literally talking last episode about how Utapri is a sellout, and then they collab with Hypnosis Mike this week, and it just proved my point entirely. Uh,
Oh yeah, my exciting news that I told you that I had the other day. I bought two Otome games. I bought
Ooh.
a PSP copy of Utano Prinsama,
Oh shoot.
uh, and more excitingly, I bought a copy of Magicune Renaissance.
Oh!
My
Oh my
one a
gosh.
local game store gets a lot of Japanese games from somewhere I don't know where, and I was just doing some like window shopping the other day and walked past, and I was like, oh, I'll go in there. And I was just browsing. Found a Falco amiibo, so I was like, oh, I'll buy Falco. He's like my favorite character from Star Fox. Dope. And then I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I'll go look at the PSP and the PS Vita games. And then I saw uh Utapri, and I was like, oh my god, that's so hype! And it was only $3. And I'm like,
Oh wow.
do I have a PSP? No, don't
Uh,
care. Like, So I bought
Are
it
you gonna get one?
anyway. Yeah, I do plan on getting one anyway. Um, I think I'm gonna
Which
get a
which different
PS
game is
Vita
it?
though. It is.
Mm.
Where is it? I think I have it like right by me somewhere. Replay.
Oh,
Sound
I think
familiar?
Replay is the rhythm game, I'm pretty sure.
Did I get
It's like
scammed?
it has no, but it's like it's a full game, but it's more rhythm game than Otome game, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. I think. Is it the one with like the chibis on the
Oh, I'm
front?
sorry.
They're like
No, it
2D
was
art.
Utano Prince Sama repeat.
Yeah, Repeat Love. Maybe I could be wrong. No, okay, that's the first game. Ooh, shoot. You got Repeat Love? Yeah, that's the first game. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
I
I
was
want
so
a
excited when
romance
I saw it, and I was
Masato.
like, "Ooh, I'll buy it." And
I want a
then,
romance
as
Masato.
like, because the way that the store has it is that like the uh games are in like little pouches that are like not chained, but they're like connected to the like wall, so you can't literally take it down and like bring it to them. You have to ask
Mm.
them, and then they open it for you. But because of that, that wall can sometimes be really crowded, so it can be kind of hard to see everything. So he takes down Utapri for me, and right behind it was Matikun Renaissance. And I was like,
Oh,
I literally
oh,
like squealed. I was like, oh, I need that one too. Like,
oh my gosh, what a find! Wow,
and so they are
hell
now
yeah.
just sitting uh on my what's it called? My shelf. One day. I'll play them one day.
One day, I know I want to get a PSP and PS Vita, but sometimes I'm like, man, I just because I want to play Period Cube and Bad Apple Wars so bad. I know Period. I'm
Mm.
not maybe Bad Apple War. I don't think Bad Apple Wars is on Steam, but it might be. But I know Period Cube isn't, and it's only on the PS Vita, but it's localized. So I want to play it so bad. I love the art for it. It's the same artist that did Black Wolf Saga. I want to play
Mm.
so freaking bad. And it has a red flag, a bunch of red flag love interests, and they're also kind of furries. And I'm like, you know what? I need that.
I know what you are.
Oh, there's a guy on eBay that sells. No, no, wait, I didn't mean it like that. No,
Yeah. No. Yeah, I get
no,
it.
no.
Yeah, you
Look,
love
if
guy
Sen
fufu, don't you? Mm-hmm.
what? No, no. I'm just saying, if Sengoku Nightblood ever got localized, the actual Otome game of it, smash, 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 smash.
I will
Yo,
say, I literally struggle to beat allegations just because of how much I love Ignis and whatever the antagonist for Ignis's route is. God, I wish he was.
it's
I
it's
wish.
okay to like can people with cannibalistic tendencies. Okay, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
Now
that.
that's my real life type. What do
It's
you
the
mean you
deepest
won't
form of
bite a chunk out of my
intimacy.
arm?
Yeah, it's intimate. Like, what
What
are
do
you
you
talking
mean you
about?
won't tongue my wounds?
Tongue your wounds.
What do you mean you won't
Need that
gently
for
slip
real.
inside my wound?
No, no, don't say bro. Okay,
Shout
well.
out to Limbo. You're a real one.
And Ignis, I guess. He did the same
Yeah,
thing.
true.
Hung out.
Damn right. That's our goat.
Well, you know what? Oh my gosh, wait, before we end. Okay. One last thing that I love, that I eat up every time, is when either one, the love interest cries, or two, the love interest loves when the MC cries. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I got a tear kink or what, but tears, I love it. I love it.
I
I
don't
eat it
know if
up.
I can
Dude,
even
eat.
think of an example of that.
Have you played Variable Barricade?
I started it, but I never finished it.
Okay, okay, so you know
And when I say
Ichiya,
I
right?
started it,
The
I mean I literally started it. Like I got to the main menu.
oh,
Like, so no,
real.
I didn't
Okay.
even start it.
Well,
Actually.
okay. So the one with the blue hair, Ichiya, his route is hit or miss for a lot of people, but there's this one CG, and he has he's so dramatic, it's like a telenovela, but he has a mental breakdown, and he like, over the MC and how much he loves her or whatever, and he bawls his eyes out, and there's a beautiful CG of him sobbing, and he looks so gorgeous, but he's sobbing, and that was the first time I noticed that I was so into that. I remember getting butterflies. I was like, "Why did I just get butterflies from a man crying?" But,
You said,
oh,
"I
the
love
way he
pathetic
looked.
men."
Yes, no, exactly. It's the patheticness and also, like, the drama and the pathetic, and he loved her so much that he bawled his eyes out begging for her back, like, oh, so good. I ate it up. And then, on the opposite side of the spectrum, Tomomori from Furushana, which you also need to play because he's the best enemies to lovers route in the history of otome games. But, um, he loves when the MC, Shana, when she cries, he loves it, and it, like, made him fall in love with her, seeing her tears or whatever, and he's, like, turned on by it or whatever. I eat that
Mm.
up. Oh my, I don't know what it is, so random, I don't know what kinda, if it was a kink, I don't know what it'd be called, but I have it.
But but I have it, and you
Anyways,
know what? You're so real for that.
yeah, just give me a man who cries or give me a man who likes when I cry, and I'm sad.
Mm,
I'm
on
sad,
God.
I am, I'm sad. Okay, well, thank you so much for your support and sticking with us while we get the hang of it because this is very new. So we are so
Yeah.
appreciative. And again, email us, message us on Twitter, Instagram. Please contact us, talk to us. You can
Anyway, be our
comment on
friend,
our podcast.
please.
Please comment on our YouTube
Please.
video. Like, we want any sort of feedback possible, negative, bad,
Tell
neutral.
us
We want
how
to
much
hear
you
from you
love
guys.
Mozu.
Hey. No, you know what? I support. Please tell us how much you
Yeah,
love
tell us
Mozu,
how
because
much you
maybe you'll
love
change my
Mozu.
mind.
Or
Maybe you'll
if you
change my
don't love
mind. I don't know.
Mozu or don't have strong feelings on Mozu, let us know what your favorite tropes are or least favorite tropes are. Tell us, we want to
Yes.
know. Tell us all about it.
We want to hear you guys be haters. Hate on who
Yeah.
you want to
Oh my
hate
God.
on. We want to
Who
hear
do
it.
you hate?
Yes, that's the final question we're gonna leave this
Who do you
episode with.
who do
Who
you
do you
hate?
hate?
You know, it doesn't even have to be an ultimate character. Who do you hate?
In general, in your life. Give us some hater energy,
Yeah,
because
give
we've
us
had a
some
lot of
hater
that in this
energy.
episode.
If you don't have any anyone that you hate in an ultimate game, just tell us about something else you hate.
Mhm.
That bitch that was
If you
in
hate
line in
us,
front of you at Starbucks? Tell us about her.
for real.
You hate us?
If you
Ooh,
hate
tell
us,
us.
you hate the
Let's
podcast,
fight.
please tell us. Okay, well,
Well,
thank you
until
so
next
much,
time,
guys.
guys. Bye.
Bye.